When life presses you down with the weight of fear, you must understand that fear was never designed to define you. Fear is loud, but it is not truth. Fear is persistent, but it is not eternal. Fear will knock on the door of your destiny, but it does not have the key to open it. The only power fear has is the power you surrender to it. That's why you must rise, not in your own strength alone, but with the strength that has been planted inside of you from the very beginning. Every great destiny will face the test of fear. Fear shows up at the threshold of every new season, whispering, "You can't make it. You don't have enough. You're not strong enough." But fear is a liar. It magnifies your weakness and minimizes your strength. It points to your past and blinds you to your potential. Yet if you ever decide to look within, you will find a reservoir of strength that fear cannot silence. You will discover a courage that is greater than the storm, a fire that burns stronger than the winds of doubt. Fear feeds on uncertainty. It thrives when you forget who you are. But the moment you remember that you are more than your circumstances, more than your failures, more than your doubts, fear begins to lose its grip. Because fear cannot control a person who is rooted in inner strength. Inner strength is not the absence of trembling. It is the ability to keep walking even while you tremble. It is not the absence of questions. It is the choice to keep moving even when the answers are unclear. Do not wait for fear to disappear before you act. If you wait for the trembling to stop, you will wait forever. Fear does not leave before you rise. It leaves because you rise. Every step you take forward in spite of fear weakens its hold. Every time you choose courage over comfort, faith over doubt, vision over excuses, you are rising above the limitations that once chained you. You cannot afford to bow to fear, because fear will paralyze your dreams. It will silence your voice. It will suffocate your potential, but strength within you is waiting to be awakened. Strength that comes from trials you thought would break you, but actually built you. Strength that comes from tears you cried in the night, but turned into wisdom in the morning. Strength that comes from storms you survived, valleys you walked through, and mountains you climbed when others thought you would quit. That strength is your inheritance. When you rise above fear with inner strength, you become unstoppable. You will walk into places that once intimidated you and stand tall. You will face challenges that once overwhelmed you and push through. You will encounter setbacks that once would have broken you, but you will recover faster, rise stronger, and move forward with greater determination. Because the strength inside of you was never meant to keep you safe. It was meant to help you soar. So I declare to you, do not shrink in the face of fear. Do not hide when opposition comes. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and remind yourself that everything you need to overcome has already been placed within you. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to borrow it. You don't have to search for it. It's already in you. Courage is in you. Power is in you. Resilience is in you. The question is not whether you have it, but whether you will use it. Fear is one of the most deceptive forces you will ever face in your journey. It comes dressed in the garments of truth, but it is nothing more than a shadow trying to convince you it is substance. Fear magnifies what is small and makes it appear impossible. Fear whispers in your ear and tells you that the dream is too big, the challenge is too heavy, the road is too long. It will point at your scars and remind you of where you failed, as if your history is the only evidence of your capacity. But I stand to tell you that fear is not a prophet. It is a prison. It is a wall that looks immovable until you dare to push against it. It is a chain that feels unbreakable until you summon the strength that has been waiting inside of you all along. You must recognize that fear will always come when you are close to something significant, because fear is most aggressive at the doorway of destiny. It knows that if you ever walk through that door, if you ever rise to that level, if you ever step into the fullness of your potential, there will be nothing it can do to stop you. That is why fear tries so hard to keep you from moving forward. It is not the size of the mountain that intimidates you. It is the voice of fear that makes the mountain seem higher than it really is. It is not the power of the storm that overwhelms you. It is the roar of fear that convinces you the storm will consume you. But within you there is an inner strength that fear cannot touch. That strength has been forged in the moments you thought you couldn't survive but did. It has been refined through rejection, through betrayal, through disappointment. Every time you got back up when life tried to knock you down, that strength grew deeper and stronger, and now it is waiting for you to tap into it, to silence the voice of fear and rise with confidence. Inner strength is not about pretending you are fearless. It is not about acting like you are never afraid. It is about making a decision to move even when fear is screaming. It is about choosing courage even when your hands shake and your knees tremble. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is mastery over fear. It is the will to step into the unknown, trusting that what is inside of you is greater than what stands in front of you. When you learn to rise with inner strength, you will discover that fear was never as strong as it pretended to be. It loses its power the moment you stop bowing to it. It diminishes the moment you speak against it, and it dies the moment you step forward in spite of it. Fear is loud but weak. Strength is quiet but unstoppable. Fear thrives in the silence of hesitation. It grows when you pause too long at the edge of opportunity, when you allow your mind to replay every possible failure, every potential embarrassment, every imagined disaster. Fear feeds on the delay between what you know you should do and what you actually do. That is why hesitation is dangerous. It gives fear time to build a fortress in your thoughts, and once that fortress is built, it will convince you that you cannot climb out, that you are trapped by limitations that do not even exist. You must understand that fear is not conquered by wishing it away. It is conquered by confronting it. The moment you step forward, the walls begin to crumble. The instant you move, the chains start to break. Fear loses its grip the second you prove with action that it cannot control you. Inner strength is what allows you to step forward when logic tells you to stand still. It is the fire within that refuses to let you settle where you are. It is that voice in the depths of your soul that will not allow you to shrink back even though everything around you is telling you to quit. Inner strength is what whispers to you in the midnight hour when fear has filled your mind with anxiety and doubt. It reminds you of the storms you already survived, the battles you already fought, the tears you already cried, and yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still moving forward. That strength is evidence that you are stronger than fear, even if you do not always feel it. Fear will tell you to wait until you are no longer afraid before you move, but the truth is you may never feel fully ready. If you wait until every question is answered, until every doubt is silenced, until every obstacle is removed, you will never begin. The breakthrough is not in waiting, the breakthrough is in moving. You overcome fear by acting in the presence of it. You rise above fear by refusing to let it dictate your decisions. Every small act of courage you take builds momentum. Every moment you choose strength over hesitation, your confidence grows. And as your confidence grows, the voice of fear weakens. The reason fear attacks you so fiercely is because it knows what is on the other side of your obedience, your courage, your persistence. Fear knows that if you ever step out of the boat, you will discover you can walk on water. If you ever take the risk, you will see doors open that you thought were permanently locked. If you ever lift your head and move forward, you will encounter opportunities that fear tried to hide from you. Fear is not fighting your present, it is fighting your future. It is not attacking who you are now, it is attacking who you are becoming. That is why you cannot afford to let fear win. You must lean on the strength within you, the strength that has been cultivated through your struggles, the strength that has been buried beneath your pain but never destroyed. Fear may shout, but inner strength endures. Fear may intimidate, but inner strength overcomes. Fear may delay you, but inner strength will carry you forward if you dare to rise. Fear often disguises itself as wisdom, trying to persuade you that holding back is the safer option, that playing small is the smarter route, that staying in the shadows will protect you from harm. But what fear does not tell you is that in protecting yourself from risk, you are also robbing yourself of growth. You are denying yourself the experience of discovering just how much strength, resilience, and power lies within you. Fear will always try to convince you that the cost of stepping out is greater than the cost of standing still, but the truth is the greater danger is in never moving at all, because when you refuse to rise above fear, you begin to suffocate the very purpose you were created for. You begin to shrink into a version of yourself that is smaller than the greatness you were born to carry. Inside every person lies a depth of strength that cannot be measured by the size of their body or the sound of their voice. It is a strength forged in silence in moments where no one saw the struggle, but you survived it anyway. It is a strength developed through heartbreak, through rejection, through loneliness. That strength is not loud, it does not seek attention, but when you call upon it, it rises like a force that cannot be denied. That strength is the reason you are still here, the reason you are still fighting, the reason you still have breath to dream. Fear cannot extinguish it, doubt cannot erase it, failure cannot destroy it. The more you trust that strength, the more fearless you become. Fear will try to keep your focus fixed on everything outside of you, the size of the mountain, the strength of the enemy, the roar of the storm. It will magnify external circumstances to distract you from the power within. But when you shift your focus inward, when you remind yourself that you are equipped for every challenge and that you have endured more than most people will ever know, something begins to change. Fear loses its voice when you stop listening to it and start listening to the truth within you. That truth says you are capable. That truth says you are chosen. That truth says you are stronger than you believe. Rising above fear does not mean you will never feel afraid again. It means you will no longer be controlled by it. It means that even when the butterflies are in your stomach and your palms are sweating, you still step forward. It means that when your mind is filled with doubts, you still choose to believe in your vision. It means that when everything around you says quit, you still find a way to press forward. That is what inner strength does. It anchors you when fear is raging. It steadies you when life is shaking. It pushes you when everything inside of you wants to retreat. And the more you lean into that strength, the more unstoppable you become. Because fear may try to surround you, but it cannot defeat a soul that has chosen to rise. Fear may try to chain you, but it cannot imprison a spirit that has decided to break free. Fear may try to define you, but it cannot contain the destiny that was written over your life before fear ever existed. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it creeps in quietly, slipping into your thoughts, weaving its way into your imagination until you begin to believe its lies as truth. It shows up as hesitation, as procrastination, as excuses that sound reasonable but are rooted in doubt. It convinces you that tomorrow is a better time, that later is safer, that waiting will somehow make the journey easier. But the longer you wait, the stronger fear becomes. The longer you delay, the more control fear gains. Fear thrives on delay, and if you are not careful, it will paralyze your progress before you realize it has happened. There is a strength inside you that refuses to wait. It calls you to rise now, to move now, to act now. That strength is not intimidated by uncertainty, it is not shaken by obstacles, and it is not silenced by doubt. It is the same strength that carried you through storms that should have broken you, through losses that should have ended you, through seasons that should have destroyed your hope. Yet here you are, standing with more resilience than you realize. That is proof that what is within you is greater than what comes against you. Fear will always try to exaggerate the risk while minimizing the reward. It will highlight your weaknesses while hiding your potential. It will remind you of every time you failed while ignoring every time you overcame. But inner strength sees differently. Inner strength looks at the same challenge and sees opportunity. It looks at the same obstacle and sees growth. It looks at the same uncertainty and sees possibility. Inner strength is not blinded by fear's illusions because it is rooted in truth, and truth does not waver. When you learn to rise above fear with inner strength, you stop allowing your emotions to dictate your direction. You stop allowing anxiety to govern your decisions. You stop allowing intimidation to keep you silent. You begin to walk with a confidence that is not dependent on what is happening around you, but on what you know is alive within you. And when you walk in that confidence, fear no longer has the power to restrain you. Fear may still whisper, but it will not control. Fear may still threaten, but it will not stop. Fear may still appear, but it will not prevail against a spirit that has decided to rise.